Counselor Troy's complete Star Trek, TNG, and Picard timeline explained. When Star Trek The Next Generation launched in 1987, audiences were introduced to a crew that balanced the legacy of Kirk's Enterprise with a new vision of the 24th century. At the center of this was Counselor Deanna Troi, portrayed by Marina Sirtis, who quickly became one of the most unique characters in Star Trek. Half human, half betazoid, and fully empathic, Troi was more than the ship's counselor. She was often the Enterprise's emotional compass. Across 7 seasons of TNG, 4 feature films, and appearances in Star Trek Picard, Troy's timeline tells the story of growth, resilience, and enduring love. Let's chart her complete journey, from the early days of TNG through her bittersweet but meaningful role in Picard. Betazoid human beginnings. Born on March 29, 2336, on Betaste, Deanna was the daughter of Starfleet officer Ian Andrew Troi and Betazoid ambassador Lwaxana Troi. From her mother, she inherited telepathic and empathic abilities, though as a half-Betazoid she only manifested empathy. This gift would shape her career, pushing her towards psychology and ultimately Starfleet. Deanna attended Starfleet Academy and later studied psychology at the University of Betaste, laying the foundation for her dual identity, a Starfleet officer dedicated to exploration and a counselor dedicated to understanding the mind and heart. During her academy days, she also began a relationship with fellow cadet William Riker. The romance didn't last, but their connection would define much of her personal journey. Counselor of the Enterprise D. When TNG begins, Deanna is already a lieutenant commander and the ship's counselor aboard the Enterprise D under Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Unlike other Trek crews, the Enterprise featured a dedicated mental health officer on the bridge, a reflection of the Federation's holistic approach to exploration. Troy's presence wasn't just symbolic, her empathy often played a tactical role, allowing her to sense deception, danger, or unspoken truths. Her early years aboard the Enterprise had their challenges. Costumes initially emphasized her appearance over her authority, a choice Sirtis herself later critiqued. But as the seasons progressed, Troi evolved from the empath on the bridge to a fully realized officer. Key moments during TNG include The Child Season 2. Troi becomes pregnant by a mysterious alien entity, giving birth to a rapidly growing child named Ian Andrew. The episode emphasized her deep maternal instincts and independence, but also highlighted how often she was written into unusual plots compared to her peers. Her bond with Captain Picard. Though rarely the focus, Troy's relationship with Picard was one of quiet trust. He relied on her insight during diplomatic and moral dilemmas, cementing her as a core advisor. Face of the Enemy, Season 6, a turning point where Troi is surgically altered to pose as a Romulan officer. Forced into espionage, she proves her strength and adaptability, stepping far outside her comfort zone. Promotion and command training. By Season 7, Troi completes the bridge officer's test in Thine Own Self, earning the rank of commander. This was a major milestone, acknowledging her as more than just a counselor. She was now a command-capable officer. Troi and Riker. Imzadi. One of the longest-running arcs in TNG was Troy's on-again, off-again romance with William Riker. Introduced with the Betazoid term Imzadi meaning beloved, their bond was spiritual, physical, and enduring. The series often toyed with the idea of rekindling their relationship, but both characters were committed to their careers. Even so, their chemistry endured. From flirtations in 10 Forward to moments of raw honesty during crises, Troi and Riker remained tethered. By the time of the films, their story finally reached resolution. The TNG movies. After TNG ended in 1994, Troy's story continued in the feature films. Star Trek Generations 1994. Troi had a smaller role, though she was infamously given the helm during a crash landing sequence. Fans still joke about the Troi crash as she piloted the saucer section of the Enterprise D to a fiery but survivable landing. Star Trek First Contact 1996. Troi got some of her most memorable moments here, particularly her hilarious drunk scene with Zefram Cochrane. Yet she also demonstrated her counselor's insight, guiding Cochrane toward accepting his role in history. Star Trek Insurrection 1998. Troy's empathy played into the Baku rejuvenation storyline, while her rekindled romance with Riker took center stage. The couple's intimacy was finally reignited, setting the stage for their future. Star Trek Nemesis 2002. Troy faced one of her darkest challenges when she was psychically violated by Shinzen and his viceroy. The trauma was significant, but Troy turned it into strength, using her connection to locate the scimitar during battle. By the film's end, she and Riker were married, beginning a new chapter together. Marriage, family, and tragedy. After Nemesis, Troy and Riker settled into married life. Riker accepted command of the USS Titan, with Troy serving as counselor. The Titan novels and later Lower Decks references expanded their adventures, cementing them as one of Star Trek's most stable couples. But by the time of Star Trek Picard, their lives had shifted. They had 2 children, Thaddeus Thad and Kestra. Thad's illness, caused by a rare genetic disorder curable only with banned synthetics, left the family devastated when he died. This tragedy redefined Troy and Riker, not as broken, but as parents forever marked by loss. Troy in Star Trek Picard. Troy returned in Picard Season 1's episode, Nepenthe. Living in semi-retirement on the planet of the same name, she and Riker offered refuge to Picard and Soji. Troy's scenes were some of the most emotionally powerful of the season. No longer in uniform, she embodied wisdom and empathy, counseling both Picard and Soji through trauma. Her grief over Thad was raw, yet she projected strength for her daughter Kestra. These moments reinforced why Troy was always essential. Her ability to connect, to listen, and to heal transcended Starfleet. She later returned in Picard Season 3, alongside Riker, during the reunion with the TNG cast. Here, Troy once again played a crucial role in bridging emotional rifts, particularly between Picard and his son, Jack Crusher. Her telepathic guidance in locating Jack when he was under Borg influence recalled her tactical contributions in Nemesis, showing that her empathy was as vital in battle as in counseling. Legacy of empathy. Deanna Troy's timeline isn't defined by battles won or ships commanded, but by something subtler. She proved that emotional intelligence is as critical as tactical brilliance. In a franchise often centered on captains and engineers, Troy was a different kind of hero. She listened, she felt, and she helped others find strength in their vulnerability. Her evolution, from the empathic advisor in a jumpsuit to a commanding officer to a wife and mother who endured profound loss, mirrors Star Trek's own growing maturity. By the time of Picard, Troy had become not just a counselor of starship crews, but a guide for grief, resilience, and love. Conclusion. Counselor Deanna Troy's journey through the Next Generation and Picard paints one of the most quietly powerful arcs in Star Trek. From her early struggles to assert authority on the Enterprise D, to her growth into a confident commander, to her enduring partnership with Riker, and finally to her deeply human story of love and loss, Troy's life is a testament to the strength of empathy. In a universe of warp drives and photon torpedoes, Troy reminded us that the greatest journeys often happen within. And as long as SR